So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can start creating $2,500 a month through music licensing. If you're brand new to music licensing, this is a must-watch video. This is very achievable. And actually, as you see, when I go through the numbers here, I'm going to be very conservative, and you can be much more aggressive in this business than $2,500 a month. Now, $2,500 a month isn't going to make you rich, of course, but that can take care of probably most, maybe all of your monthly expenses so that you can get out of your day job, get out of your work situation, and just make music full time, okay? So again, I'm going to show you step by step all the different sources of income that you can start to earn and specific numbers for how to actually get to this number in 1 year. Okay, so this takes a lot of work. It's not going to come easy. It's not going to come super quick. This is a slow moving business. It takes a while for your royalties to start to come in through the PROs, BMI and ASCAP. But it's absolutely possible. And if you can sort of stick it out for the first year, couple of years of this industry, you can start to see this number grow exponentially into an incredible number. You can be making way more money than you ever thought you ever could actually with music. And I think music licensing, honestly, is the only segment where this is really possible anymore. I mean, of course, there are some artists and producers that get lucky, get a viral hit, get a deal, go on tour, and actually can create some sort of a buzz about themselves. But if you're watching this video, you've probably been running up into walls over and over and over again, trying to get that buzz for your career, for your music. Music licensing is a completely separate thing, and you don't have to really worry about that rat race at all. You can actually just start serving the needs of clients that want to get your music placed and want to get your tracks out there into TV shows, movies, and commercials. So let's go through these elements, shall we? All right, so number one, we have consideration fees. So consideration fees are those upfront fees that music libraries, mostly exclusive music libraries, will pay. Not all of them, they don't have to. There's no law saying that they have to, but many of them do offer you an upfront consideration fee for you submitting your tracks exclusively to their library, okay? So first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start to partner with exclusive library, or maybe a couple of them. I'd say maybe 2 to 3 at the most. You don't want to overextend yourself so you can't keep up with all the demand, but maybe start off with 2, in the first year and try to get those secured. And try to find ones that pay anywhere on the low side around $50, which is probably the lowest you'll see in this industry, all the way up to 500, probably even 1,000. I've heard of ones that are even 1,500. A lot of times those are the ones that include vocals though for background instrumental track, which is usually what I've done. That's basically been the majority of my career and probably what I recommend you get started in as well. You're probably going to see this range in the beginning parts of your career, 50 to 500. So again, I'm going to be very conservative, and we're going to basically assume that you're only getting $50 a track, okay? So when you partner with these libraries, you need to get into a situation where you're cranking out consistent music. So let's say you're going to try to go for 10 tracks a month. It's a very conservative number. That means you probably average 2 to 3 tracks a week. If you can do 4 tracks a week or even 5 tracks a week, you get to a sort of place where your production methods and habits are really, really effective, then you can crank this up to much higher, okay? But let's just go to the very base, something that's achievable. If you have a full-time job, this is still achievable, okay? Nights and weekends can get you to 10 tracks a month. Let's say you're just getting $50 a track. There's $500 a month right there, okay? Sync fees, that's the second source of income that you can look forward to in this business. So sync fees basically are the upfront fee that you get paid when your track gets placed in, say, a custom opportunity where there's an advertisement or maybe a particular TV show or a theme song or something like that, where they want music that is specifically created for an opportunity. Sometimes they will go to a pre-made track and offer a sync fee for that. Again, this isn't across the board. Not every song that ever gets placed gets a sync fee. Sometimes there are no sync fees to be offered for some opportunities. But what I found in my career, that usually these are when you get offered for, I've done Nike, Ford, Jack in the Box, Outback Steakhouse. When you get offered custom cues for commercials that get placed either in the US or internationally, that's when you start to see some of these opportunities that earn these sync fees up front, really nice fees, okay? Now I'm being very, very extremely conservative with these numbers, okay? Let's say that you only nail 3 of these a year, which you can absolutely do because you're going to get offered these probably once a month, maybe one every other month, depending on how many libraries you're working with and how active they are. But let's say you can only nail 3 of them a year, which is not much for an entire 12-month span, right? And let's say they're only paying you $3,000 each. Again, this is a very, very low end. Well, you average that out for the year, that's $9,000 for the year, or $750 a month. So we're already at $1,250 a month just on these 2 sources of payments. And we haven't gotten into the vast majority of what your income is going to be, which is performance royalties. This is your bread and butter. This is what you really need to protect. This is what you need to make sure you're hanging on to those writers' royalties for, okay? So let's say that you did get through 120 tracks. Remember, we're doing just 10 tracks a month, so 12 months. You got 120 licensable tracks. Keyword, I've bolded it and underlined it. It doesn't do you any good just to have songs in a library. They have to be very marketable, useful, and serving the needs of the libraries that you're working with. So you're doing this 10 a month, and that's how much you have out there. So let's say you're averaging 100 placements per quarter. So 3 months in the quarter, 33 placements a month. If that sounds like a lot to you right now, it's really not that much. I know that when you're getting started in the business, getting 1 or 2 placements is super exciting. And you're thinking, wow, 100 placements, like what would that feel like? You get used to it. It's very, very common. And this doesn't mean, by the way, that 100 different of your songs have to be individually placed. One song can be placed in 25 different TV shows. One song can be placed in the same TV show 25 different times. So I'm talking about literally just 100 individual placements between your 120 tracks. So it doesn't mean that all 120 tracks or 100 of them got placed. Does that make sense? It really is one of those things where that's where the exponential power of this business comes. One track can get you actually all 100 placements. One of your tracks can completely blow up and get placed in all different types of TV shows. And then the rest of the 119 can also start to do well and go into other places. So there is a massive room for growth in this business. So that's what they talk about, passive income. The work you've done once can get paid over and over and over again, okay? Now, let's say you get an average of $37.50 per placement. Where did I come up with that? Well, I say you should be averaging, or at least shooting for average placements of between $25 and $50 per placement. So you average those two, 50 plus 25 divided by 2, you get 37.5, okay? So let's say you're getting 100 placements per quarter. You multiply that by 4, because there's 4 quarters, times 37.5, and we've got ourselves 15 grand a year, okay? Not massive income, probably not full income for wherever you are. I mean, maybe if you're in certain parts of the country where cost of living is much cheaper, that actually might get you to completely paying off all your bills. Who knows? Probably not though, okay? Let's be realistic. But that now puts you at that average per month of $1,250, right? On top of the previous $1,250. And so there we are, right there, $2,500 per month, okay? Very, very conservative. This is absolutely something you can totally do, and you can totally achieve this within a year of this business. You've got to work hard. You've got to hustle. It's not going to come to you instantly and super fast, okay? You definitely have to have persistence and have a long-term mindset and see this as a goal for the long run, okay? That's why a lot of producers get into this business. They burn out super quick. They get in 6 months, maybe even to the full year, but they don't see these numbers yet, and they think, oh, it was all a waste of time. They give up. A year goes by, they suddenly get this massive royalty check for $4 grand, $5 grand, and they're like, where did that come from? Time and place. Sometimes it takes that extra 6 months, 8 months before somebody finds a lot of use for your music. And by that point, if you've given up and walked away and done something else, you've kind of screwed your relationships and you're no longer the inner circle producer for the libraries that you partnered with, right? That's why consistency is so key in this business. And again, this is just the beginning of what you could possibly do, okay? I haven't even talked about jingles, themes, featured placements. Those are the placements that can get you multiple thousands of dollars every time they air, not including the sync fees that you can get for those some of those kind of opportunities. Okay, so I haven't even talked about that. Most of what I've talked about in this presentation is background cues, just background music. Custom gigs can offer sync fees of even $5,000 up to, I've seen $100,000 offered, okay? Not a joke, absolutely real. Not very often, okay? They're not coming every single week in your inbox, but absolutely you can start to see these if you work with the right companies. So when I said $3,000 each for a sync fee, that's pretty much on the low end of what you're going to be seeing for a lot of these opportunities. So you can absolutely see $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 opportunities, and that's that one-time payment, not to mention back-end royalties, okay? Again, we're only talking about the bare bones of this. And obviously you can create a lot more than just 10 tracks per month if you want to. That's the beauty of this business. When you're trying to be an artist, you're trying to be a producer, you really are limited to basically one album per year because you have to market that album and do music videos and then tour it and promote it. In the licensing business, you don't got to tour, you don't got to put out music videos, you don't have to like advertise anything, right? You just have a company that you're working with and you just constantly feed them more and more and more music. So you can put out way more, and you absolutely should be putting out way more than one album a year to the licensing business. You should shoot for about the minimum of 10 tracks per month. If you can crank that up and double that, well, now you can start to see where this can build. And of course, all of this is talking about just the first year. So let's say you get your first year rolling, you're kind of sitting around this spot. Not a guarantee, of course. Many factors can determine your income. But then you start on your second year. Well, now you're creating new income and new placements and new sync fees and new back-end royalties. But you might also be getting continuous payments from the previous year's placements, right? So some of the TV shows that you got placed last year keep airing, and then they go to other countries. This is what happens. This is how my royalties grow over the years, is I get placements here in the US. For example, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, I've gotten, I think, 7 or 10 placements with that particular show. I get paid, and I got paid every time that those episodes re-aired and went into syndication and aired in multiple markets here in the US. But guess what? That show blew up in, like, I think it was Germany, Sweden, maybe it was Japan. There's a couple of different countries that TV show got picked up, and now it's going into syndication in other countries. And guess who gets paid every time that gets aired? And that was, I don't know, 5 years ago, whatever that was when that placement came out. So I'm getting paid residual income, mailbox money every single quarter, okay? So what you start to see as you stick with this business is you see the snowballing effect happen, right? You start to build and build and build. It's slow in the beginning, just like a snowball. It doesn't seem like much is happening, but eventually you start to see the layers build up and this incredible amount of income starts pouring into your bank account, and you realize before you know it, you're a professional producer, and you can maybe even have the option to quit your job and do something else if you want to, and do this full time. So if you're brand new, welcome to my channel. Please leave a like if you found this interesting. Please make sure to subscribe. I have new awesome informational videos every single week coming out on this channel, so do not miss out on those. And if you have not gone through my free music licensing course, click on that link in the description box right now. You need to learn how to navigate the waters of this business, how to make licensable music, how to find these partners that can offer you this kind of income, okay? Don't do like the 95% of producers doing what they do in this industry, which is they just, spam a bunch of companies, throw out their music to everybody and hope something sticks. You need to be smarter and wiser than that, okay? So I can absolutely show you the ropes of this industry and how I was able to create a full-time income for myself and help you avoid a lot of the mistakes and the BS and the bad deals and bad companies that I worked with when I first got started, because I didn't have a free course to go learn this stuff. So take advantage of that free course. Click on the link below. And again, thank you so much for watching, and here's to your future success in the music licensing industry.